Hey, what's up, guys? It's been a little while since I've thrown up a video. To be honest with you, though, I was working on a pretty cool project that I want to share with you guys. But a key component of this project that I've been waiting on for a couple weeks finally showed up. Unfortunately, it showed up gimped up. During the shipping process, looks like it had a little accident. Little things like chunks of wood and stuff from whatever landed on it or laying in there. But the vendor, they're standing up to it. They're getting it taken care of. So we'll be back up and running with that soon, but still frustrated. So what does a guy do when they're frustrated? They go find a piece of equipment that hasn't ran in 3 years and figure tinker with that. I mean, what could go wrong with that, right? So let's take a look at it. Well, 3 years is a mighty long time for a piece of equipment to sit around not working. So I imagine there is some funky stuff going on in here. So, like normal, we got a couple things we need to check on. We need to check on fuel, the fuel make it happener thingy, um, spark. Make sure we got spark going through there, zapping through to fire off that fuel. And then finally, if it has those two things, we need some compression. And so let's see if we can figure out which one is which, or this sitting around on this thing is totally fried it. But looks like there's a few things we got to operate on in order to even get to, well, there's the fuel make it work thing. There's it's got compression. That's good. Feels good. It's popped. It's not seized up. Let's see if we can figure out. I think we have to pull off all this shroud and try to get to some things that we can actually see. So I'm gonna go ahead and, you gonna stay like that? Well, sure you are. There's a fuel button. Ooh, that smells funky. Okay, let's dig in. You get some screws out of there. Get all this stuff. Probably gonna use that. Probably gonna use that. Are you gonna fit? Yes. Yes. No. Is there another one? What's that doing there? Oh, it works. Okay. Let's use this and pop out a few screws and see what we see. Get my handy dandy rapid screw extractor. Okay. There's that. Well, we've got one here. Let's pull you. Got one here. Let's pull you. Sure, why not? What else we got? We got more over here. Well, there's something there on the side. Well, there's more screws to take out. Let's take these out and see what happens. Oh, that one. That's better. All right, we're making some progress here. I'm gonna get into it, maybe. Okay. There's you. Let's open you up. Okay. Let's lift you. We'll just keep moving stuff. Oh, that's fancy. Uh-oh, getting in there. Let's see what happens with that. There's a starter thingamajigger. Got a key. There's a starter button. Boy, there's a whole bunch of plastic in this thing. Oh, look at that. We have access. We have a solid little fuel line there. You know what? Let's, what do you say we pop this out? Let's pop that out, give it a couple yanks, and see if we got sparkles. Because a lot of things can go wrong in 3 years. Like the organization of my toolbox. That's more like 3 weeks. Okay. Sure. All right. That's a half inch. That'll work. Let's grab the big one. All right. Let's see what we see. That's pretty fouled up. But we are going to plug this right in here. And you know what's fancy about this, now that we know it moves, if I get an extension cord, yeah, that's not going to work. Because I need the end that plugs into the end that plugs in to the end. Let's grab one of those. I'll just set you right up here. Plug you in there. It's that safety plug. Let's run you around here. Eeny, meeny, miny. Hey, oh, you're going to go in that way? No? I'm going that way? Sure. There you go. All right. Let's see if that spins. Oh, yeah. That spins. That's cool. All right. We got our fancy ignition switch here. Let's turn that and hold that little sparkle maker right there and see if we see sparkles on it. And we have sparkles. That's good. All right. Well, we got that. And since this thing hasn't ran, and I'm assuming, yeah, let's get some, I'll get a little bit of, well, I don't want to use that just yet. All right, we'll just throw, what do you say, a cap bowl down in there. That ought to do it. Now let's see if I can tilt this up and make it in the hole. I'm going to go in the hole. I think some of it went in there. Let's throw that back in there real quick and see if we're able to make some smoke. There we go. We'll just throw that in there. Throw that in there. Well, there's that. So that's the first time it's done that in a couple years. So I'm going to say we're probably horsing around with something right in here in this little gizmo here that does stuff with the fuel. What do you think? Well, let's dive in there. I bet you it all started with that little guy right there. But let's crack into the bottom of that because we got some leakage around there. Yeah, there's some fuel in there. Well, what was at one point fuel. But anywho, how do we want to dive into that? Because I can't see nothing. Uh-oh. Did you guys hear that thing fire up? That was good news. Oh, they got fancy Allen keys in there. What do we got up here? Got a little choke. What's that for? Oh, the priming bulb. Fancy. All right, let's grab a wrench and pull off that bulb because we know if it's been sitting like that for a couple years, Yeah, those little jet thingamajiggers in there, the fuel squirters are probably very, very not happy. It tends to happen. I mean, you sit anywhere for that long, things aren't going to work quite like you expect them to. You know how when you're sitting around for a couple hours watching a game or something and you go to stand up and almost fall on your face because your body was all comfy? Well, imagine doing that for 3 years. All right, I grabbed like 7 different wrenches, so we might have the right one in here somewhere. Oh, look at that. Number 2. Let's open you up. See what we see. Yeah, there's still stuff sitting in there that really shouldn't be. So let's give that a little tappy tap. Oh, yeah. Oh, look at that. Man, oh, man alive. Is this supposed to be 2-cycle? Doesn't seem to be supposed to be. Oh, that's not stuck. That's good. Fuel mix, unleaded gasoline, and Toro 2-cycle. Yes, it is a 2-cycle. See that? I'm glad I dumped that fuel down there then. Okay, so we got 2-cycle oil, and it ran when that stuff's in there. So let's see. Got to figure out what the cycle is because I only got a certain kind. But let's pull you out of here. That hose is hard as a rock. So we'll go ahead and replace this fuel hose too. Yeah, let's cut that out of there. Let's squeeze you. You're squeezed. Let's get you spun around, maybe. Come on around here. There we go. Let's squeeze you. Okay. Cut off this fuel line here. Did you guys hear that thing fire up? 3 years. That's amazing. Yeah. Let's get you out of there. I was not expecting that, especially with that little dab of go-go juice I put in there. All right. So, I wonder how a unit sat there for so long without running and why it wouldn't run in the first place. Or was it just forgotten? Because it does have compression. We've seen that. And we got a little bit of fuel, not down the gullet, but down the head, and it seemed to like that enough, all right. So I think we might just be dealing with something here in the fuel make it happen, or maybe a little air being in places that it doesn't want to be, or it doesn't want it to be. I don't know. See if we can find what fits this fancy screw. And of course, I bet you it's the one that's not in here. What do you think? Oh, nope, there we go. Wow, that's, I was not expecting that. Look at that. Yeah. Sweet. Oh, I'm never going to see that again. Better find it so it doesn't go shooting into the neighbor's yard when they fire this thing up. Hopefully. Hopefully they fire this thing up in here. So there was evidence of fuel leakage down here. So we probably either got somebody's been in here messing around with it already, or somebody tried messing with it and gimped up the gasket a little bit, maybe. I don't know, but we got some gasket material if we need to. A little do-it-yourself gasketry. Got you out of there. All right, you're not stuck. That's good. Let's see if we can get you off of there without destroying you. Because I just want to get into that little area right there. Throw some carb cleaner through this. And I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of effort on it, but there we go. Made it back. Made it back. All right, let's go ahead and you want out of there? Ooh, there's a fancy little spring in there. Wow, let's get you out of there so we don't lose you. On up, there's that. Shh. Oop. Slippery little sucker there, aren't you? Okay. Now, what have we got down in there? What kind of gizmo we got in there? Cause all right, so got a few little things here. Think we're good there. Doesn't sound like anything. Almost lost that little guy though. So we're gonna go through and just clean this little bad boy up a little bit. Try to spray down all the orifices. Keeping out of that one because there's a little diaphragm in there. We don't want to get any carb cleaner on, but get down in that hole right there. Yeah, see, it's blowing back on me, so there's definitely some clogging going on there. There's another right there. Let me run one of you guys through there just to make sure you're nice and dirty, because that's what I have you for. Yeah. There we go. That looks better. Now, this carb cleaner, the little rubber diaphragms, they don't like carb cleaners. So what I'll do is just dump a little bit of this 2-cycle down in that yap there, just to help dilute some of this carb cleaner. And then let's see if we can find all of our little, let's get our jet. Now, one thing about these little guys is they're little, and you got these mitts trying to get in there and squeeze things into little places, and things like that happen. Things move around that aren't supposed to. So, got to make sure that everything is going where it's supposed to go, so you don't get it all back together only to find that you screwed up. Because, there's a possibility I might have done that once or 3 times. Let's give you another whirl so we can get you in there. You get in there and you just behave yourself so we can get you back together. I remember back when I could actually see what I was doing. Those were good days. In there, should be sitting level, looking good. there's still some plug again there. That's probably our issue. Okay. There we go. All right, let's put our bowl gasket back on there. Let's get you, make sure you're cleaned out. It's okay, these are in here. And get you back in there. Be nice. I'm sorry I took you out. Throw you back down in there. So, as you've seen, we jumped through. We checked the sparkles, checked the compression, and we had that, and we had that, and we dumped a little bit of fuel down into the head there, and bing, bang, boom, it liked that. So now we're back down to messing around with the fuel, make it happener again. So I'm going to get some new fuel line, because that other stuff, like I said, was pretty crusty. Delivery direction wants to go that way. Okay, so we will go that way. Put you on there. Got a little compression thingamajigger doodabber. Let's get that off of here. Put you on the new section. Uh-oh. Get you up in there. There we go. All right, you're there. Now we'll put this fuel filter somewhere right in here. Okay, I believe the fuel circuit is back together. Yeah, nice and tight. Boop, 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 boop. Okay. Let's dump a little go-go juice down that fill hole. All right. Yeah. Okay. Uh-oh. I think I found a problem, guys. Right there. Should have checked that first. So, yeah, that's a problem. So let's do this just to verify, some verification. Let's see if we can't stick something down in that. Plug that up for a hot second. Okay. Well, look at that. All right. Let's see if we can't get you off of there, because we're gonna need to switch you out. Yeah, that's roached. Look at that thing. Let's go see if we can find one of those. Well, I can't believe it, but you heard it. I heard it. We're back up and running. So a guy's looking to see here. I got my little tube. If I pop it up through that hole there, can I get something to hang on to that while I wait for the part? You know what? We'll pop this. No, we won't. That ain't fitting in there. Will you stick in there? Sure you will. Okay, so we'll just leave you like that. And then I think, yeah, sure. That'll go back in there. Boop. So we can kind of put it back together because I ordered a new priming bulb for it, since that's all that's left that we need. So, but we can put it all back together and pop that in when it gets in. So let's see if we can roll this forward a little bit and figure out how to put this thing back together. Now, it is a little funky, maybe. Looks like there was some Craigslist rebuild going on, and there's some overspray. I don't know what they were spraying, but anywho, I think they might have just been spraying something next to it, huh? Let's see if we can clean this up a little bit before we go sticking it back together. That might be a good idea. Let's go find something to squirt on it. Let's do like carpet, flip it on the backside, give that a squirt, see what it does. See this part? We know it's there, right? What do they say? Can't see it from my house. So this other project I got going on, it's a pretty cool build. A lot of fun stuff in it. There's some torching, fire. There's some welding. There's some inventing, creations, and a whole lot of organization skills and using cool new tools to replace some older style tools. Not to say that the older style tools weren't doing what they needed to do, but we got some stuff today that are a lot smaller in stature, but a lot stronger in power. Sometimes that's what you need. So this project, anywho, is a lot of that. So if you're watching this, go ahead and subscribe and maybe hit that little alert bell, because the next thing that's going to pop up is that project. And so far, I've had a lot of fun with it. You guys will see some. I'll show that tool that you've seen over there somewhat gimped up in its glory when it's up and running and doing what it's supposed to do. Because my vendor, like I said, they stood up. They're getting me a replacement. I think it's because I'm going to be doing another build just like that. So fortunately, I ordered 2 of those units when I placed the order, and the second one will be here supposedly today, that I'll be able to use to wrap up this build, and then I'll just be waiting on the other one. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Let's throw some of this on. This just says spray and walk away. One-step process. Yeah, you want to go in there? Yeah, okay. All right. Put you in there. Put you in there. Okay, well, that's back together. All Our little hose is still there somewhat. Watch me lose that hose and I have to open it back up again. Let's go ahead and squirt some of this fancy juice on here. Clean this area up. Oh, wrong juice. Let's get the fancy spray and walk away. Get it all nice and shiny. I think I'm going to spray and wipe and then maybe spray and walk away. Look at that. Now, I was not in any way expecting this thing to fire up the way it did. Sometimes these things just want to run. They want to do what they were built to do. So, like I always say, take care of your tools and they will take care of you. This poor little guy was left for dead for 3 years. Can you believe that? 3 years. Now, you're not going to go clearing any parking lots with this thing, but certainly helps. Makes it a little easier on you than a shovel. Yeah. Well, look at that. Isn't that pretty? Okay, well, now all we need is our little priming bulb, and this thing's ready to go back to work. Fancy. Okay, I got a mess here I got to clean up.